If you've ever thought, I'd love to homeschool, but I have no idea where to start, or what if my child falls behind, you're not alone. And today I like to set some things straight. Welcome back, friends. If you're new here, my name is Michelle and I am a homeschooling mama to 4 kiddos ranging from ages 13 all the way down to 8 months. We are entering our 4th year of homeschooling. I also have a degree in early childhood education and have taught grades K all the way to 3rd in the public school system. Today, I want to speak to the moms and dads who are just starting to consider homeschooling, especially if your kiddo is around kindergarten age and you have no idea where to start and you're feeling completely overwhelmed. Our current school system has convinced us that by the time a child is 5, they are ready to start reading, writing full sentences, sitting still for hours, solving math problems, and thriving socially in a classroom filled with 20 plus kids. But here's the thing. That's not developmentally appropriate for most 5-year-olds. In fact, it's not even based off of what's best for the child. It's based off of managing a classroom of that large of a size. You've probably heard that what used to be taught in 1st grade is now being taught in kindergarten. And yes, the academic standards keep getting pushed younger and younger. And as a parent, we think, well, if a 5-year-old is learning all of these things in school and they are a year or 2 years ahead, I want that for my kid too. I don't want my kid to be falling behind and to struggle later on. But here's the truth. Just because something is expected doesn't mean that it's developmentally appropriate. We've confused early achievement with actual growth. And that pressure, it's doing more harm than good. Children are being expected to sit longer, focus harder, and master skills that their brain and their body are just not ready to do. And we're seeing that consequence more and more each day. Higher level in anxiety and school resistance, more diagnoses for attention and behavioral issues, burnout for the child and the parent, shallow learning that won't stick, a loss of natural curiosity and the joy of learning, and a deep-rooted belief that their worth is tied to performance. That's not the legacy that I want to leave for my kids, and I can bet that's not the legacy that you want to leave yours either. It's not a sign of achievement, it's a red flag. A child who learns to read at 7 and a child who learns to read at 5 will usually catch up to each other by the time they're 9 years old. But the child that was rushed might associate learning with stress, while the other one associates learning with delight. In homeschooling, we're not trying to beat the system. We're trying to build up the whole child, their heart, their habits, their curiosity, and their connection to home. You don't need to replicate the public school system. You get to reclaim childhood. One of the biggest influencers in our homeschool is Charlotte Mason, who is a 19th century educator who had such a gentle yet powerful approach to teaching. She believed that formal education should wait until 6 years or later, and that the early years should focus on 3 simple things: habit training, time outdoors, and loving real life experiences. Instead of worksheets and academic pressure, she emphasized hours outside in nature, reading rich living books aloud, helping with the home life and learning through play, having rich conversations with parents and with siblings. She said that education is an atmosphere, a discipline, and a life, and that life starts right where you are in the everyday rhythms of your home. In homeschool, your child isn't behind or ahead. They're exactly where they're meant to be. We get to slow down and focus on mastery instead of memorization, on connections and not comparison. And what's really wild is that when we stop and slow down and give our kids the chance to develop naturally at their own pace, they often do catch up and often exceed the expectations, but it happens in a way that's natural, it's peaceful. So what does homeschooling a 5-year-old actually look like? How long should it really take The answer might surprise you. Most experts in home education, including Charlotte Mason inspired families and well-seasoned homeschoolers, agree that a 5-year-old should have about 30 to 60 minutes of formal education max. That's it. And even that should be gentle, playful, and full of connection. Here's an example of what that might look like. 15 minutes of read aloud, 10 minutes of phonics or letter sounds, 10 minutes of gentle math using blocks, nature, or real life things going on like baking in the kitchen, lots and lots of time outdoors. This is science, PE, mental health, all in one. Chores and life skills, setting the table, feeding the pet, folding laundry. That's all learning. Creative play, drawing, building blocks, pretend play, nature walks. And most of their learning, if you haven't noticed from the schedule, it happens when they're playing, when they're asking questions, helping in the kitchen, and listening to you talk, or just by exploring the world in general. You don't need to sit at the table for hours. You don't need a full-on box curriculum. You don't need to stress. You just need to be present and trust the process. Now, if you're the type of parent that feels more at peace having something completely laid out for you the day by day, I totally get that too. And here's a few curriculums that I feel still follow that gentle approach that focuses on the whole child and not just the academics. The first one is A Year of Playing Skillfully by the Homegrown Preschooler. This one is a play-based, hands-on curriculum full of wonder and connection, and it is for ages 5 to 7. There's lots of art, life skills, and nature woven in throughout the curriculum. The next one is The Peaceful Press by the Peaceful Press Preschool. This one is a beautiful literature-based curriculum rooted in the Charlotte Mason and Montessori methods. Each week is centered around a theme and includes reading, letter recognition, nature studies, and some simple projects. And the last one is Before 5 in a Row. If you love picture books, this one is so sweet. It uses classical children's books and offers simple, rich activities to go with each one of them. There's no pressure, just connection. And just remember that even with these curriculums, you don't have to do everything that comes with them. You're allowed and you should be able to use it as a tool, skip things if you have to, slow down, speed up, do whatever feels right for you and your family. If you're still in that place wondering, could I really do this? I want to share 3 books that helped me so much when I was just beginning. The first one is Homeschool Bravely by Jamie Erickson. This book just gave me so much peace. It reminded me that God calls the perfectly imperfect ones to homeschool, and you don't have to have it all figured out. Leave the second guessing behind and just give yourself that grace that's needed. The next one is not exactly homeschool related, but this one really solidified my decision to homeschool, especially with older children. It just really opened my eyes to what's really being taught in our culture and how that seeps into the classroom. And that one is Mama Bear Apologetics by Hillary Morgan. I highly recommend this one. I'm telling you, when I say it solidified my decision, I genuinely mean that. I was on the fence about homeschooling. Honestly, probably wasn't even considering it until I read this book, and that made us go full 100% in. And the next one is Rooted in Wonder by Eryn. This one is such a gift. It helped me to be able to slow down and see just how much learning happens every day through nature, through curiosity, through presence. Even if you decide to never homeschool, this book really helps you to rethink how you see childhood. So I 100% recommend this one. It is such a favorite of mine that I keep going back to every single school year. So friend, if you're thinking about homeschooling, know this: you do not need a teaching degree. You do not need to recreate the traditional classroom setting. You don't need to follow public school standards of learning. You just need to have a willingness to learn right along with your child and to trust God along the ride. Your home is enough. Your love is enough. They don't need to be 2 years ahead. They just need space to be able to grow at their own pace. Comment below what's been your biggest fear or roadblock kind of stopping you from homeschooling. I'd love to walk this journey with you and answer any questions that you may have. And don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll be sharing more honest encouragement and practical tips and book recommendations along the way.